I just want to make a little video for you. This is actually for a specific person, somebody who wrote to me, and I wanted to respond in video format just to, well, one, try this out, see if it helps, and create a video and give some value. The letter reads, Brendan, I know we don't know each other. I need help from someone who can listen, understand, see. I need help from someone who can listen, understand, see. Someone who has your wisdom, your clarity, your clear vision, your detachment, your feet connected to earth, your experience of teaching. You have that plus the warmth in you, the smooth way of being, of talking that I feel in you. I realize this email can be too much. No problem if you don't feel like answering. Thank you for the compliment. I'm scared. Okay, fear. Last week I facilitated a meditation session. There were 3 persons. They are from the yoga course I follow every Wednesday. My yoga teacher is gone for 2 weeks, so I suggested I could make 2 meditation sessions. At the end of the hour, the persons were completely into it. They tended not to open their eyes. They were utterly amazed on another planet. They explained to me they had really experienced, it says experimented, but it's probably experienced something special, peace, harmony, well-being. So they organized the next session very well, telling back to the yoga teacher how good it was, invited more people to come, telling probably, that was wonderful. I don't really want to know. Okay? That should be very pleasant for me. It is in a way. It gives me self-confidence that I need, but I'm afraid of these strong reactions. First of all, do I deserve that? Maybe that was just once, and it may be completely different next time. I saw an astrologist 4 years ago, a truly skilled lady who told me I was a spiritual guide in my past lives, and that I was scared because I had bad stories, disciples who turned away from me probably because I had abused them. Furthermore, it is not at all what I want to teach. I want to teach people to become aware of what happens in their body, in their mind, to learn a tool to realize things inside them, so reconnect themselves to their body and mind, and to realize what attachment, aversion, impermanence, equanimity are. If they experience something great and they are not equanimous, it goes utterly to the wrong way. It reinforces the bad pattern in their mind, attachment. It is totally wrong, and it comes from me. I try not to judge what happens in me now, just observing that I'm struggling. It came, it will go away. Thank you for having read. Okay, so basically I just want to go through this letter and maybe pick it apart and see if we can get clear. I think probably clarity is one of the things that may help right off the bat the most. So here we go. So you're scared. All right, cool. You're experiencing fear. My first question for you, like you said, you're scared. Great, that's fine. It may not be fine in your experience, but I say fine in the sense like let it be there right away. Okay, there's fear. And then you start questioning, well, what's the fear about? That's one thing I would do right away. So like my question to you then is like, what is the fear about? What are you afraid of? What future event are you afraid is going to happen? You know, fear doesn't just arise from nothing. It has to have a future component to it. Otherwise, it doesn't get to be there. So, you know, my question is like, what are you afraid of? And then let me know. Sounds like you had some people, they got, at the end of the hour, the persons were completely into it. They tended not to open their eyes. They were utterly amazed on another planet. It seems like you really got them to shift state, you know, using the meditative practices or whatever you were doing. I imagine, now I didn't take your class, so I don't know, but I imagine that you got them to really shift their state of mind so that they were in an altered state, which meditation can do quite well. So they organized the next session. They're inviting more people. This sounds like a success right away, like you're getting more people to come in. And then you say, it was wonderful. And then you said, I don't really want to know. I don't know what you mean by I don't really want to know. Is it that you don't want to know what the people think of you, or you don't want to know that the class is a success, or you don't want to know when people say, oh, I love it, you don't want to know that? I don't know what you mean by that. So that I need to clarify. So you say, I don't really want to know. What do you mean? It should be very pleasant for me. It is in a way. Yeah, it seems reasonable. It gives me self-confidence that I need, but I'm afraid of these strong reactions. So then my next question right away is, what strong reactions are you talking about? And what are they in relationship to? Because you've only mentioned right now is that you're scared. You mentioned, I'm scared. Now, I don't know how strong the fear is. Maybe that's your strong reaction. But you said, I am afraid. Excuse me. Afraid of these strong reactions. I want to know what those are. Which looks like you're telling me. First of all, do I deserve that? Well, do I deserve that? Maybe are you asking that question because you have a feeling in you that says like, well, I don't deserve to do well or some such? If that's the case, then that is something separate from your meditation practices, or just notice that that's a reaction that's coming up and then start to question the reaction. Like, what's the reaction about? If you don't feel like you deserve something, one question might be, why would you need to think that you need to deserve or not deserve anything? Maybe it's not a matter of anybody deserving anything, and you can just kind of throw out the whole idea of needing to deserve the praise. See, however I can relate to that, if somebody's like giving me compliments, sometimes I have a reaction that's like, I don't know if I'm that good, I don't mind. They're giving you a compliment. Cool. And you can investigate the reaction. Like, what's the reaction about? I don't deserve it. Oh no. What's that about? Maybe that was just once and it may be completely different next time. Okay, so check next time, see what's going on. Now, you say this thing, I saw an astrologist 4 years ago. A truly skilled one told me I was a spiritual guide in my past lives and that I was scared because I had bad stories. These are disciples who turned away from me probably because I had abused them. So now, here, this stuff I would call into question in the sense that, okay, you have fear, right? And now you're also presenting a cause for the fear in the form of, in this letter, it takes the form of a story that you're telling me, here's an experience of fear. And then I go, like, why is that experience there? Well, because I saw an astrologist 4 years ago, and they told me that this, and this, and that's why I have the fear. Now, that doesn't, I want you to make a distinction. I want to invite you to make a distinction between the experience of the fear and the story about why the fear. And see if you can, at least at the beginning right away, just hold open that and make a distinction such that you separate the fear, the experience of the fear, from the story you tell about why it's there. And start to pull those apart so you can see them as different activities. They are not the same activity. For example, like the reason, like if you look, when you have the fear, the story is not of the same nature as that fear. The fear is a very particular flavor of experience, so to speak. And the story about why, that's an explanation. Kind of like we might say, well, why do the tides come in and out? Well, because science says that the earth and then the gravity and and the moon, and somehow the moon moving around pulling the oceans, and then the tides go. You see, but the explanation is never the event. The explanation always occurs after the event itself. Do you see what I'm saying? Or it's maybe right next to the event, but they are not the same thing. The fear is not the story. The oceans moving are not the explanation why, even if it's a valid scientific explanation. They aren't the same event. And starting to pull those apart can allow some freedom around that. And then also, you know, one thing that Peter would mention sometimes is, well, when we ask a why question, like, well, why is the fear there? You see, we are very good about jumping to a why question. Why is the fear, especially if it's something we don't like? Well, why is it there? And it's useful to grasp, or at least look at, if you don't know or consider that if you have fear and you're asking why it's there, you might be asking the wrong question, because if you ask why something's there but you don't actually know what the fear is, like what is it, then maybe once you get what it is, then the why question will answer itself. You know, if, for example, fear is an activity or something that you do and it's not caused by anything, then asking why, you know, it's like if I stick my hand to my face, we go, why is my hand stuck to my face? Why is my hand stuck to my face? And then we could write a story about, you know, Peter uses this example, like, why is my hand stuck to my face? And great philosophers can write a whole book and why my hand is stuck to my face and da-da-da-da-da. But the truth is, it's not. And maybe the same way with the fear, maybe the truth is the fear is just something you're doing and it's not related to the story about why at all. But we don't know that until we grasp what the fear is. Yeah? So that's my invitation there. It's like, check out the fear itself before assigning meaning to the fear about what it means about you. There's the fear, and then there's what you make it mean as well. You see, and those are, again, separate. Or there's the fear, and then the story about why the fear is there. It's not the same as the fear. You see, and see if you can pull those apart and then maybe create some space around that. That's an invitation. Furthermore, it's not at all what I want to teach. Well, I can't help you there. If you don't want to teach something, don't do it. If you do want to do it, then do it. If you want to do it and then teach, and then not want to teach while you're teaching, you can do that too. That's really that one's on you. Like, that's up to you to decide how it is you want to approach that. I want people to become aware of what happened in their body and their mind, to learn a tool to realize things inside them, to reconnect themselves to their body and mind, and to realize, okay, so right there, right away, I want people to become aware of what's happening in their body. Right away, I'm like, hey, check out the body being work we do in Sheng-Shin. That stuff's awesome for that. You know, the Tai Chi, the games, the techniques, just the training itself will create body awareness, for sure. And mind. To learn a tool to realize things inside them, a good tool for that, I would recommend looking into bottom lines and bottom line contemplation. So like really questioning the core of myself. That's what like bottom line is, looking into what's going on that is me. And really what is really going on, not just on the surface, but really at a depth that most people don't go for. You know, bottom line contemplation, I'd recommend there. And realize what attachment, aversion, and impermanence and equanimity are. So then that, again, I would recommend right away to start contemplating, use questions. You know, if you're teaching a class and you want people to actually dig into it, you could use like a ritualized format where people are doing dyads back and forth, like consciousness dyads, or you know, you could even ask them during the class. I'm just offering these up. I know you didn't ask me to offer you anything. I'm just offering solutions here to what I assume are problems or places where there's some stuckness for you. So to give you some ideas of stuff to do. I'm not saying like you have to do any of it. Just check it out. Maybe it's worthwhile. or maybe it'll help break things open for you or move you in a direction that might be useful. That's my intention here. If you want to realize what attachment, aversion, impermanence, and equanimity are, start questioning those things. Ask. But experientially question, in your own experience, you ask, what is impermanence? And then really delve into the question, not based on what you hear from other people or what you read from other people or what somebody down the street says, but like really, what's your experience of impermanence? And then get like what that is. Like really grasp what it is. Then you're on your way towards becoming more conscious of what it actually is. Like what you said here. It's like you want to realize what it is, start asking what it is. What is attachment? Not like from the books, but in your experience, what is attachment? Like what is that stuff, that attachment stuff? And then open up, and start to discover what it is for yourself, not just listening to others, which everybody does. They form a belief system usually about what the stuff is. Well, I read it in a book, therefore it must be da-da-da-da. Maybe not. You don't know. Unless you want to form a belief about it, then go ahead, read the book, form a belief, and then that's what you got. That's very easy to do. But if you want to realize what these things are, it's very useful to toss out everything you've heard, everything everybody else has said, and just look at it with a fresh eyes, so to speak. Yeah, start questioning, contemplation. Use contemplation. And if they experiment, so you could do that with your students, simply during class, ask them, hey, what is equanimity? What is attachment? And they might tell you from the books, and okay, that sounds like something I heard from a book, but in your experience, what is it? And then they start pushing them into their own experience and have them be honest about what's going on in their experience. And then you can perhaps discover together what these things are. And it'd be a useful, powerful direction, I think. And if they experience something great and they're not equanimous, I don't know what you mean if they experience something great and they are not equanimous, it goes utterly the wrong way. What way is the wrong way? What is the right way? I would like to know. Because it sounds like you have something about what's right and wrong for people to do, or an assumption about a right way to do things or a wrong way to do things, or if you're equanimous, that's right and good, but if you're not equanimous, that's bad and wrong. I don't know, it just sounds that way. So maybe check the assumptions you have about what a right way to live life is, and see, is that something that you want to propose to people, that they should live a certain way or shouldn't do certain things? And if so, why? And what's that about? I'm curious. And it reinforces the bad pattern in their mind, which is attachment. So it sounds like you're saying that attachment is totally wrong. Like it's wrong to be attached. Okie dokie. And it comes from you. And okay. So yeah, again, if it's totally wrong to be attached, maybe like, for example, I am attached to my body. You see? Is it wrong? No. Is it what's happening? Sure. Yeah, there's an occurrence in my experience. It's like, oh, I'm attached to my body. Like, I get real, I don't want to lose my arms and my charming good looks or whatever, And if I did lose these things, it would be a problem for me. And that's an attachment. Now, is that wrong in my experience? No, there's nothing wrong with attachment. However, because I'm attached, there is a great deal of suffering that goes along with it. For example, maybe, I'm losing my hair. There's like image. There's a little bit of pain about that. Perhaps I look in the mirror and I go, okay, I'm going bald. I don't like that. Because of the attachment, there's some pain and ergo some suffering. Now, suffering is not a pleasant experience, and also not something that's needed, and it's not helping me be happy or free or whatever. So in that sense, yeah, we could say that's wrong. but I wouldn't call it wrong. Just notice what it is. You know, what are the consequences? If I attach myself to my body, what's that about? Then I can decide whether it's something worth living or not, you know, aka like assigning right and wrong to it, so to speak. I hope that helps shake some things up. And then the last part, and it comes from me, I am assuming that you are worried. It sounds to me like you are worried about teaching people stuff that's wrong, or in your estimation wrong, or you're afraid of sending people off in a wrong direction. And that may be holding you back. So now for that, yeah, it can be challenging working with other people in the sense that you cannot, to some degree, you can help steer them on a direction. But if the person is really locked into a certain way of seeing the world, then you may have no choice, no ability to have them see what it is you want them to see. If you're trying to share some knowledge or share a consciousness or an awareness with them and they're stuck in their brain, it's really hard sometimes. I mean, really hard. So you got to kind of weigh those things, I think, in terms of teaching other people. You know, you do the best you can and realize that if your intentions are clear, you're straight with yourself, and you present it in a clear way, whatever you're working on, you present something clear and honest and straightforward and authentic, and you like give them the package. If they don't grab that or grasp what you're saying, or they take it and twist it and turn it some weird direction, then you can't help that. You know, there is no force on God's earth that could stop that from happening, you know, given you're using legal means, you know, maybe torture. Okay. Don't take this the wrong way. See, don't take that the wrong way. Don't go to violence. But I'm just saying, like, you know, there are forces that can take care of that, but it's like serious objective forces. If there's like a flood or something like that, and they get trapped in the flood and die, yeah, okay, that will stop that activity. But other than that, there's no, like, you can't talk to them, you can't reason with them, you can't steer them this way or that way, you know, you can't have them have certain thoughts. The best you can do is you just keep presenting whatever it is that you're trying to present, and you keep trying to teach, and then they'll get it wrong, and then you make a correction, and then make feedback, and then change it, and then do it again, and then you just keep working, you know, as best you can and be as clear as you can to get them to grasp what it is you're trying to share. And if they are stuck in a certain frame of mind, it is near impossible, you know, and I've seen that from experience. So don't worry. That's the message I'm trying to say. Like, don't worry about it. You'll do fine. Like, just keep being honest with yourself, and then honest in your presentation with them, and that's what you got to do if you want to teach, you know, if you really want to teach. So those are some thoughts for you. Let me just check here. I try not to judge what happens in me now, just observing that I'm struggling, and I'm struggling. It came, it will go away. Yeah, that's very true. You know, so whatever you have going on with you now is not necessarily going to stick around. It'll pass, you know, and maybe it's uncomfortable. And just know that, which I think you know already, it's like there's a saying, it's like, this too shall pass. You know, it'll move on to the next thing, and then the next problem will come up, and then you'll feel bad about that and whatever. So just keep at it, you know? Yeah. So I hope those thoughts of mine about what you wrote were useful, and hopefully allow you to take the next steps, whatever those steps need to be for you in your training, and also help you get clear on what it is that's going on with you, you know, so that you can operate more effectively in your practice. So Thank you. I hope you enjoy your time, and I will talk to you later. Bye.